Good morning, folks. We are on our way to school, right? School and work. Thanks. You get that from a 4-year-old. I just wanted to touch bases with you guys and also finish up or kind of like put a cusp on the last video that I uploaded as it related to moving as a single parent. Sorry about that, guys. I know I say a lot, but I really wanted to, like I said, make videos and post things that were really relevant in my life. And I'm sure that there are many others that, are single moms like myself that need a boost of encouragement and want to move forward after having kids. So, like I said, where I left off last time was me talking about how I actually moved. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my previous video, but I moved and I drove from California to North Carolina with my 4-year-old. It took me about 7 days. It took me about 7 days to move from North Carolina not North Carolina, but California to North Carolina. And I'll let you guys know what stops I made in between it all, just so you can get a bigger idea on what kind of plans I had in order, what things I wanted to accomplish when I drove, that kind of thing. So when I left from California, I drove and actually bought a vehicle maybe a month before I left, and the first stop I made was in Arizona, and I stayed there overnight. So my initial, and when you guys think like you left from California and you drove to Arizona, that's not too far. Like, why'd you stop and stay overnight? Well, I stayed overnight because, first of all, I was a single mom driving alone with my child, and I just felt like it was really important that things are safe and secure. So I only left and drove when it was the daytime. I didn't drive at all when I felt like it was, dawn or getting, kind of late at night. Whenever I did that, I stopped in advance, and I would honestly just look over on the highway and see when the next rest stop started and just took a break. So I stopped in Arizona, and the next place I stopped in was New Mexico. So I drove to New Mexico from Arizona. I can't say that I stayed overnight in New Mexico. I kind of just drove through it and took a break because, honestly, driving from here to there takes a lot out of you. But, if you're a driver and you like to, use that time to reflect and think about things, I'm that kind of person, Like, I like to drive long distances and then also reflect on things that are going on in my life, plans that I'm making, and, just reflect on good times. So, in between all that, that's where I stopped. The next stop I made was in Texas. Okay, so sorry guys, the lighting is getting a little bit weird. We're driving on our way to school and work, right? And the lighting is just going down because right now in North Carolina, I can't. And Santa's gonna come. So around Santa time, it gets I guess it gets a little gloomy. You know what I mean? It gets a little gloomy for this time of the year. This is my second winter here, so I'm just happy and blessed to be here. But anyhow, sorry about the lighting. So in between all of that, I stopped in Texas, and then I made my way to Texas, but I stayed overnight in San Antonio, where I had a really good friend that just had a baby. I stopped overnight. So really, before I left too, I want to mention this. I called and text people that I knew from college, that I knew from my childhood, that moved off and on, and throughout my journey, I just stopped and made stops and just spent time with people that I loved and knew, So my friend had just had a baby, and there's a group of us, so I was like, why not stop and go see her and the new baby? So, it was really nice to be able to just stay overnight, and then, my 4-year-old got to communicate and bond with her new baby. Yes, you. And so that was a good time. So, drove off, left from New Mexico, and then we headed, if I could say, we still headed east, and the next stop was which is really cool. We stopped in New Orleans, where I had another friend from high school and middle school. My best friend, she had some people out there that really helped me out, and I just spent the night there and just kind of made it work for whatever situations I had. It was a good time. After that, we stopped in Florida. I stopped in Orlando, to be exact, because I have some family in that area, so it was just really good to just be able to just stop. And I spent quite a few, well, I'm not going to say days, but maybe 2 days I stayed there in Florida and just bonded with my son. Went to Disney World, and yeah, we went to Disney World, remember? You want to go again? You want to go again? Okay. So after we traveled from Florida, we stopped in Georgia, where my initial plan was. So initially when I moved, what's up? So after we left from Florida, we stayed in Georgia, and that's where I initially decided to find a place and get an apartment there. Honestly, guys, I know there are those folks that are coming from the West Coast that are oh, Georgia, Atlanta is booming right now. Let's move forward. If that's you and you like that kind of atmosphere and that's the best for you, then by all means, I think you should move there. But personally, me, I didn't. And I was fortunate enough to have God in my life and help me get out of the apartment or place that I rented from within 30 days, which is, I know, crazy. But that's how I live my life. So, after that, I traveled to North Carolina and made it my home. And what I'm trying to say, within all this story is, don't fear anything. Let God lead you. And, just trust that everything's going to be okay. Don't feel discouraged because you have a child or because you have outstanding factors, in front of you that may stop you from getting where you want to go in life. Because I'm a firm believer in, just stay motivated. And if you want something to happen for yourself, make it happen. Obviously, it took a lot of family and friends to help me along the way, but that doesn't mean that, there won't be a way that you can make it if you feel like where you're living is not the best situation for yourself and your family. Like I said, it took a lot of planning, and it took a lot of thought and reflection on it all, but I was really determined. And I'm sharing my stories, sharing my experiences, and kind of just giving guys more, ladies, gentlemen, whomever is watching this video, excuse me, more options and encouragement to move forward. So if you guys have any questions about my journey and where I am now, please let me know. In the description, I'll leave some more information about, you know, what kind of resources can help in your processes of moving and, you know, restarting life after you're settled, that kind of thing. And leave me some questions and leave me some, you know, comments about, you know, what you guys think. I'm interested, you know. I mean, I'm not making videos, you know, to just be like a massive YouTuber. I'm just making videos to touch people and to, you know, share my story, because boy oh boy, I have so many more stories to tell. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys soon.